Hi everyone, today in this video I'm going to teach you how to create your first budget. I'll go over the 3 different budgeting strategies and then give you 4 tips that I've personally used for the last decade to help simplify the process. And also, if you stick around until the end of the video, I'm going to give you some bonus tools that'll help you stay on track. First, we need to answer the question, why do we even need a budget? Well, our income is our greatest tool for building wealth and living the life that we want. However, a majority of people spend all of their income and have nothing to show for it. Budgeting helps you keep track of how much is coming in and how much is going out. It also gives you the ability to tell your money what to do and where to go. It puts you in control. So what are the 3 budgeting methods? The first method is called the 50-20-30 method. This is where 50% of your income is spent on needs, 20% is spent on savings, and 30% is spent on your wants. Another method is called the cash only method. This is where you use cash for anything that you can. So if your groceries are $400, then you'll go to the bank and get $400 out to spend at the store. And then once that $400 is gone, you can't spend anymore. Both the 50-20-30 method and the cash only method are great, but sometimes it's hard to distinguish between your wants and your needs. And a lot of times it's hard to pay cash for things, such as your debt payments. This is why I recommend a combination of these things, which is called the $0 budget. Yes, that is exactly how it sounds. Your goal at the end of the month is to have $0 left over. So if you make $3,000, your goal is to spend $3,000. However, there's more to it. So why would you want to do this? With this method, you need to give every dollar a job. It gives you permission to spend on things without feeling guilty about it, and it helps you plan for your necessary expenses. So you're never worrying about whether or not you're going to be able to make ends meet. What I have found is that sometimes I underspend on certain spending categories, such as shopping, and it feels good knowing I have the extra cushion to buy those shoes I want or the new watch. So how does it work? Well, first we need to put our income and expenses into a few different categories. These categories include income, savings, housing, transportation, food, lifestyle, personal, health, insurance, and debt. In the income category, you want to include any funds that you get every month. This can include paychecks from your job or any income that you know you're going to get in any specific month. In the savings section, this includes any funds that you're going to put towards your emergency fund, vacation savings, or any specific large purchase that you're saving for. I recommend saving at least 15% of your paycheck. But if this is unreasonable, start with 5% and then work your way up 1% every month. I can promise you that you're not going to miss a penny of this money. I found that when I started saving heavily, it did not make a huge difference on my quality of life. And I barely even noticed anything had changed besides my savings account growing. So think about it this way. Have you ever went out to eat at the beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month you've looked back and said, I wish I wouldn't have went there, I wish I wouldn't have eaten this? Or do you not think about it? So the truth is that we don't think about it. So we already incurred that expense at the beginning of the month, so now it's out of the way. And this is the same thing that we should do with our savings account. Go ahead and do it at the beginning of the month, so that way at the end of the month we don't even think about it. In the housing section, this will include any of your mortgage or rent payments, utilities such as electric, water, sewer, trash, or any type of storage that you pay for. In the transportation section, this is where you'll put any car payments or any gas that you use every single month. A lot of times gas is a variable expense that changes person to person, so just make sure you calculate how much gas you're using every single month, put whatever applies to you. In the food section, I like to put groceries and restaurants. In the personal section, I typically put my phone bill and then a miscellaneous allowance. The miscellaneous allowance is very important, and I believe that we should all have this allowance on our budget because there's always expenses that come up that you don't think about. So this is what that is for. And if you have any other expenses that are personal to you, we'll put it right here in this section. In the lifestyle portion, this is where we'll put any monthly subscriptions you have, such as Spotify, Netflix, and this is also where I put my shopping allowance. In the health section, this is where you'll put any gym memberships or supplements that you pay for every single month. The insurance portion of your budget includes any life insurance, any health insurance that doesn't come out of your paycheck automatically, so therefore you're paying for it personally. In the debt section, this is where you'll put any debts that you're paying off, such as credit cards or personal loans. I'm a big believer in paying off debt as quickly as possible. If you would like a video of me teaching you how to get out of debt quicker, go ahead and put a comment below so I can make a video specifically for you guys. After all those categories are filled in, we should have $0 left over. If you end up getting extra funds or you have any remaining funds, any of that should go towards savings or debt payoff. So now I'm going to go over 4 tips to help you simplify the process. So tip number 1 is to get a good idea of how much you should allocate to each budget item. Pull up your bank account and add up how much you spend on each line item. This will take time, but go back 3 months to get an average of how much you spend. If you budget $400 in groceries, but typically you spend $800 per month in groceries, this budget will not work like you want it to. A big misconception is that a budget is supposed to restrict you from buying and help you live more frugal. This may be partly true, but the $0 budget is meant for you to tell your money what to do and where to go, and to avoid getting to bill time and wondering if you have enough money to pay for it. And if you don't want to save anything at all, you don't have to. Just because I save 20% doesn't mean you have to. If you want to spend $500 shopping every month, then do it. It's your money. The main thing is just to budget for it. Allow yourself to live a little and don't be so hard on yourself. I have found that over budgeting on wants like eating out or going shopping will actually make me want to do it less. If I have money left over, I say, wow, I'm proud of myself. Let's put this $223 towards savings instead of spending it on shopping. And we have that extra money within our budget to do this, so it works out great. Hey guys, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you're enjoying the video. Every time you do, it helps this video connect to people just like you. Tip number 2 is to create a new budget every single month. You'll want to create a new budget every month because each month has specific expenses that aren't like the other months. For example, Christmas, you're going to spend more on shopping. On vacations, you'll spend more eating out and buying souvenirs. Or anniversaries, you're going to be buying gifts for your significant others, and those are all in specific months. I personally create my budgets for the next month on the last day of the previous month. For example, if I'm budgeting for August, I'll make that budget on July 31st. This helps me focus on the next month ahead, but also I can look back on my current budget and see what I've spent for the month and see if anything needs updating. Tip number 3 is to always start with a buffer. Buffer is how much your checking account starts with at the beginning of the month. A buffer is recommended because on most months, your payday isn't on the first of the month. The buffer is really just a cushion until payday, so you can pay your bills without waiting on your paycheck. If you use the $0 method, then your buffer should be the same for every month. For example, if your bills are $3,000 per month, and $1,000 is due in the first 15 days and you don't get paid until the 15th and the 30th, then you need a buffer of $1,000. That way, you always know whether or not you get paid before the 15th, you will still be able to pay your bills. So on the first of every month, you should have at least $1,000 in your checking account. Tip number 4 is that anything you can buy cash with, get the cash out and put it in an envelope. This is where the cash only method comes into play. I personally keep my food and gas allowance in envelopes because those are some of my largest expenses, and I want to physically be able to see how much cash I have left over to spend. When I'm eating out and I reach into that envelope and I only have $50 left, I know for the month that's probably the last time I'm going to eat out. So this really just helps me manage some of the expenses that are harder to manage by just looking at the app on your phone. So next, I'm going to go over 3 budgeting tools that I personally use that will help you stay on track. Tool number 1 is the EveryDollar app by Dave Ramsey. This app aligns perfectly with what I've shown you in the video. And my favorite part of this app is called the paycheck planning feature. It allows you to list the dates that you get paid and also the dates that your expenses are coming out, and it'll keep a running total of your checking account balance. After all of your inflows and outflows are scheduled, it'll tell you whether or not you have a high or low risk of overspending, and it'll show you how much of a buffer you need. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you can download the app. In one of the next videos, I'll go over how to set up the EveryDollar app and how to create your budget within that aligned on the $0 budget. The second tool is actually your banking app. Most banks offer a spending summary. They'll actually categorize what you spend your money on in the previous month or year, which will take out the legwork of you having to do it yourself. And the third tool is actually Excel. Excel is a great way to keep track of everything the old-fashioned way if you don't like using an app. You can easily make tables or add or subtract expenses, and it is very user-friendly. I've been using it over a decade just to use quick math, and this is actually what I used for budgeting before the EveryDollar app came out. The final thing that I want to leave you guys with is to simplify the process. It's so much easier to maintain something that isn't hard to do or to keep track of. Get your family members on board so they can keep you accountable, and then have them watch this video so you guys can do it together. Studies have shown that wealth and riches is 80% about behavior and 20% about how much you make. So start budgeting so you can create a better life for yourself. Again, if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to leave a comment so I can answer yours in the next video.